My name's Alison Neighbour. I'm an artist working in site-specific practice, usually in connection to nature. So the project I was working on was about exploring the shape of the valley. So I started where the sea is, at the mouth of the river, and then I travelled up to the source of the river at Llyn, and that was where I found what I wanted, the space where I wanted to work in. And I was interested in the invitation, how we invite people into these spaces. So I created a walk on a path that already existed to a little house that already exists, but that I renamed Tydeckrai as the idea of the beginning of the river, the beginning of the possible future for the valley, for people to think about what they wanted to happen in that space. And the idea was about taking people out of their kind of everyday environment and the villages and everything that holds you back, you know, to be in this really open space where anything feels possible, and that is also scientifically a really important site in terms of climate change and carbon and biodiversity. So that was also kind of an undercurrent of where we were walking. And then they found, when they walked, they would find this box that had objects within it that all had a little tag attached, just as a provocation to think about. And so they were invited to think about those provocations and discuss them with the group that they had gone on that journey with, and then perhaps leave something behind for other people, and to take an invitation down the mountain with them to give to other people. So I was trying to decenter myself within that invitation and get other people to do the inviting. I think that way of working is quite important, because otherwise you're always kind of trying to work against the odds, and sometimes you might hit upon the right route straight away, but I think often, particularly coming from outside of this area, actually I don't know people, I don't know the space, I don't know the community, I don't know what's gone before. So for me to come in and say, I'm going to definitely deliver this thing in this place, is quite arrogant, really. So I think it's good to, certainly as a visiting artist, particularly with no history here, to have that opportunity to explore and test stuff, and then to be able to turn right around and go, no, we need to do this differently. But I think also having that network of support of other artists means that there is a kind of, I think somebody else called it a group mentorship, that just kind of holds that space, so that when you're feeling fragile with the project, there are other people there who will be also feeling fragile, who you can talk about it with without an agenda. So in terms of my learning from this project, I think there's a few different things, and I think certainly the value of that artist mentorship, it is something I've experienced in other projects, and this kind of reinforces how important that is. And I think also my line of inquiry with the project was about invitation. How do you invite people, particularly how do you invite people that you don't know at all in a place that you don't know at all? So I think my experiments with that, there are some things that worked, some things that didn't work, some things that were unquantifiable, so I don't know if they worked. And that's something that I'd like to continue, that journey of experimenting with that. And I think certainly kind of taking forward for myself that idea of it's okay to change the outcome, and like to start from a different place, like to really start from the start rather than to start from the end, is something that I definitely want to try doing more of.